What's up everyone, it's your boy Moses and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my new home studio setup for music production, mixing, mastering and also for YouTube. And I'm hoping by the end of this video you'll be able to take one or two ideas from my setup and make it yours, modify it, tweak it. Just make sure you take something from this video so you could get better production for your audio and for your music production. Let's get it. Alright, for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. My name is Moses Joshua. I'm a musician, I'm a producer, I'm an engineer, and also I make videos about music production. I make videos about playing keyboards and also about audio engineering. So if you're looking for a channel where you can get values and also tips for your music production and also to get better audio for your production, either for music or also for film, this is the channel you want to stay tuned on to. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get all of the goodies for the audio that you need to get better production. Alright, so in this video, like I said, we're going to be doing a studio tour. By the way, I'm not going to go in depth into everything that I'm using in this video because that's going to take way too long time. So if you want an in-depth review of any of the stuff that I have in the studio, just drop a comment in the comment section and we'll make it happen. Alright, let us dive in. Let's go. Alright, so let's start with the most important thing that you possibly need for your music production. It's a 2013 15-inch MacBook Pro, 16 gig of RAM, quad-core Intel, 500 gig SSD. It is just working so fine, so perfectly for what I needed to do for music production, for mixing and also for mastering. It's been doing well. I also use it to edit videos as well. Alright, let's talk about the hard drives. I'm using 3 hard drives. The Samsung T5 SSD drive, which is always connected to my computer. On this hard drive is where all my sample libraries are. Most of my plugins are also installed on this hard drive because I can save more stuff on it. It's a 1 terabyte and I will be able to free up a lot of space from my computer by doing that. And also I'm using the Lassie HDD 5 terabyte hard drive, which is like a backup hard drive. I'm using it with a Time Machine to always back up my computer and also to back up all of the projects that I've worked on in the past and also the one I'm currently working on. So I'm also using the Transcend 2 terabyte HDD drive. This is like a backup for the backup that I have. So to make sure that if anything happens to my backup, I also have another backup for that. Alright, let's talk about the audio interface that I'm using. An audio interface, for those who don't know, is something that takes your audio source, that takes your audio from your microphone. Your microphone goes into the audio interface and your audio interface helps you to record the signal into your digital audio workstation. The audio interface that I'm using, it is the Native Instrument Complete Audio 6. It has 6 inputs and 6 outputs, so that means I can plug in 6 different things at a time, and I'm also sending out output into 6 different sources, into headphones, into speakers, and into other places where I needed to send to. So it's been working really well. It's built so solid. I've been using it for about 2 years. It is USB powered, so you don't need to always plug it to another power source. Just plug it to your computer and it comes on. The only microphone I have yet in the studio right now is the Aston Spirit microphone. This microphone is built like a tank. It is made with steel and it's rock solid. I've been using it for 2 years. It works so well with male vocals, with female vocals, with BGVs, for voiceovers, for anything, pretty much anything. It works so perfectly well. It has 3 polar patterns. It has the cardioid one, it has the figure of 8, and it also has the omnidirectional. The frequency response goes from about 20 Hz to about 20 kilohertz, so it works perfectly well for literally any source material. Now this microphone is connected to what we call the Aston Swift Shield. This Swift Shield has the pop filter, which allows you to be able to, it dissolves all the P or the plosive or the B and all the P's that comes with the sound. It takes that out for you and also the shock mount is connected into that, and I'm connecting all of this switch shift and the microphone into the boom arm, the Gator Frameworks boom arm. I have been using a particular cheap boom arm in the past and it just cannot withstand the weight of this microphone, but this boom arm that I'm using right now, it is like literally the best I've ever used. So if you are looking for a boom arm in the market, I would recommend the Gator Framework. It is so solid, it can handle really good weight, and it's not going to be shaking on your table. Alright, let's talk about the monitoring. Right here I'm using the Yamaha HS8, which is the main monitor that I use in the studio to mix, to work, and to do all sort of audio production in this place. And this is a really good speakers. It's been tested and trusted, used in the industry by a lot of industry professionals. I've been using it for about 2 years and it is really working well for me. If you learn how to use it and you use it well, you would have quality results from these speakers. Apart from the speakers, I use headphones to also monitor, just to check my mixes on the headphones. So I'm using several headphones, but the main one that I use the most is the Audio Technica M50Xs. This is like also another industry standard for a lot of audio engineers. So on these headphones, you can at least gauge where you are and you can know what you need to tweak. It gives you a flat response. And also I'm using the Sennheiser HD6XX. This is the mass drop version of the Sennheiser popular HD650. It is an open back headphones, and what that means is that it allows some of the sound to go outside. So as it's going into your ears, it's also going back outside the ears, and someone who is next to you can literally be hearing what you are listening to. This way it eliminates ear fatigue and you can listen to music for a longer period of time than the closed back headphones, which is the Audio Technica M50Xs that I mentioned earlier. Alright, I also monitor on all the sources of headphones, the Apple's AirPod, the earpiece that I have. I monitored on in-ear, the Shure in-ears. I also monitored on the Beats EP. These are literally where people listen to music. And I also monitor on my iPhone. I monitored on my laptop speakers just to hear how these things sound on different sources. There is another little thing that I have, which is like a bookshelf cube speaker, which like some people have in their houses or connected to their computer. It is not the best sounding speaker, but you can literally just gauge what your music is sounding like compared to other music out there on these crappy speakers. One last thing that I want to mention with monitoring is a little headphone amp made by Behringer. What this does for me is that if I have a singer or somebody else in the studio and we want to record something, I want them to hear themselves. I want to be able to hear myself. My audio interface has only one output for headphone, so I use this, and as an amplifier I plug it into that headphone source and it splits into 4 other stereos, and we can all control our levels individually. So it makes my life so easy. I can record much people without having to buy another interface that has more headphone output. It's a really good thing to have in the studio. Now let's talk about the MIDI keyboard controllers. For every producer, you need some kind of keyboard controller where you make your beats, where you play your sounds. And for me as a musician who is also a keyboard player, MIDI keyboards are an essential part of my production. I don't joke with them. The first one I want to mention is the Akai MPK Mini. This is a staple in the music industry, used by a lot of beat makers. With this little thing, you can literally go from a bedroom producer to a Billboard topping chart producer like this guy right here. It is really good. It gets the job done. You can finger drum on it and you can play your melodies on it, and you could pretty much be making so much money with this little guy. The next one I want to talk about is the M Audio Axiom 61. This is a 61 key MIDI controller and it's been with me for a while right now. I got it from eBay for just about $100 and it is, working really well. The next one is the Akai MPK 261. This one is the go-to when I need a MIDI keyboard to do literally anything, and I mean anything. from finger drumming, 16 pads for finger drumming, and a lot of controls, a whole lot of controls. You can even save your settings. If you map some things, you can map for your DAW, you can map for your plugins. Like, it is really crazy. It's a little bit pricey though, but for what it does, I cannot even complain about it. The next MIDI controller here is an 88 Hammer Action MIDI controller. It is made by Studio Logic. It's an old MIDI controller, the ones that uses the pin thing, but I'm using a USB to pin UM1 made by Roland. It just convert that pin to USB so I can plug into my USB port and record MIDI from that USB. So it's really working so well for me. I got it again from eBay for just about $250 Canadian dollars, which is a steal for me because it's an 88 heavy weighted. So if you want to play that piano and you want it to feel like a real piano, or you want to play like an EP and you want it to feel like that heavy weighted Fender Rhodes EP, because I want to be comfortable making music, right? I want to make sure that when I'm playing, I'm feeling it like the grand piano, because from the feel, it goes into the music, it goes into the recording. It all starts with the feeling. It's the feeling that we're selling in the music, right? So if I am comfortable playing what I'm playing and it feels so real to me, I'm not thinking about the unrealistic part of what I'm doing. It's going to transfer into the music and into the listener, so everybody can enjoy what I'm trying to achieve in the studio. That's why I make sure I have this. I'm a big fan of keys playing. It is an integral part of my music production. All right, let's move on. The accessories that I use for my MIDI controller, I use the sustain pedal, the stack sustain pedal. This little thing has been with me for a very long time and it's been working so well. I know I probably should upgrade to like a Roland bigger Danpo pedal, but honestly, this little guy just works really well for me. And also I'm using an expression pedal. An expression pedal creates expression. So if I'm playing an organ, for example, it helps me to create that expression from an organ, just like this. Or if I am playing like a synth sound or I'm playing strings, it helps to create an expression, for example. Right, so that is why I have expression, because again, we are selling feeling, we are selling expression. It has to move, it has to make sense, it has to feel. That's why I think an expression pedal, it is really essential in the studio. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about, the elephant in the room that a lot of us in the music industry don't like to talk about, it is the acoustic treatment of this room. You may be the best singer, you may be the best producer, you may have the best session musicians to work on your music, but if the sound of the room is bad and what you are capturing, it is bad, the echo is going from your singer, from your room, all of that resonant frequencies are going into the microphone and they're getting captured into the microphone, everything is not going to sound good. And when you're trying to even make your beats or maybe produce or maybe mix, you will just be running after and changing things, because what you are listening to is not real. Your music may sound good right here in the studio that is untreated, and you get into the car and it sounds too less busy or too busy, whichever. So you are always going back and forth. The acoustic treatment that I'm using here in the studio is made by a company called Prime Acoustic. With these guys, you literally can go on their website, put your room dimensions, and they will recommend for you what they feel it is best for your room based on your dimensions. So let's get into the details of these acoustic panels. I'm using, first of all, from the bass trap, we have the max bass trap. This thing absorbs all the bass frequency, making sure that there is no resonant bass frequency in this place. And there is also the London 10 kit. This has like 8 absorption panels and also 12 scatter blocks. This just absorbs all of the sounds in the room and making sure all the frequencies are evenly distributed. And also I'm using on the ceiling cloud right here, the Stratos ceiling cloud. This absorbs all of the frequencies in the mixing position. So I have a table here. When the sound is coming out of the speaker, it's bouncing off of the table, bouncing up and down. This cloud here at the top of me just make sure all of those sounds are properly absorbed and I'm not having resonant frequency going back to the ceiling and back onto the table, and it's just messing with what I'm listening to. And if you have the budget, I think you should treat your room. And I'm not talking about buying Amazon phones of $20. I have used them, they just don't get it solved properly. So I encourage you, if you have the budget for it, go out there and get the best acoustic treatment for your room. Example, before acoustic treatment, this is how the room sounds like. This is an audio recording, the testing room sound 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. And right now what you are listening to, it is how the room sound like after the acoustic treatment. So I hope you can feel the difference. I hope you can hear the difference. It is really massive. I know at some point I am going to also be installing some more panels into the studio. I need another bass trap on the left side of the studio just to absorb those bass frequencies much better. And I also need some tri-corner bass traps, which also just stays at the four corners of the room just to absorb all of those low mid frequencies even much more. Alright, so here in the studio I also have a bass guitar, and it's a 4-string bass guitar. It is made by Fender. It's a Fender P-Bass Precision Bass, and it works really well. I play a little bit of bass, and I also use it to make beats. I use it to make music. I use it to lay ideas down for a musician, a proper bass player who is going to like track on the song that I'm working on. So it just comes in handy for me to be able to like have a feeling of what the bass is going to do in the record. The other accessories that I use here is the Icon Platform Nano. This is a DAW controller, and what this does is it helps you to be able to like work more efficiently and create better music. In what sense? Like I said earlier, music is all about emotion. If your music is just static or pretty like no dynamic, it's just loud all through, it's not creating any form of emotion to feel. And we use volume, we trick the ear, we use volume to like create expression and to create emotion in music, and that is what we are selling. So this helps me to like use automation much more efficiently. I can just switch between read mode, latch mode, touch mode, write mode, region mode, send. I can control my plugins from here. I can control my EQ, my compressor. I don't even need to look at the screen. I'm just controlling everything from this little guy. The next thing here is the keyboard and the mouse that I'm using in the studio. I have the Apple, old Apple mouse and the trackpad that uses battery, but I don't use that a lot. What I use a lot is the Logi MX Master keyboard and the mouse, because I'm able to create a lot of shortcuts for a lot of apps, and I can also connect to 3 different computers. Alright, so that is the studio tour, and I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope you have found some value in this video. If you have, please, I want you to do me a favor and smash the like button so that someone else can see this video and also find value from them. What I want you to know is that you don't really need all of this thing that I have if you're just starting out. All you need is your ears, your imagination, your creativity, your laptop, probably a microphone if you even going to be recording vocals, and an audio interface, of course, and maybe a Midi controller to make your beats if you don't know how to use your keyboard on your computer to actually make beats. You can use a small Midi controller like this. So with a budget of like $1,500 to $2,000, you can get a pretty decent setup, and of course an headphones to be able to listen to what you were doing if you don't have studio monitors. And you can start with that, and you can learn what you're doing from there, and you can go from there into something like this. And when you have the budget to be able to like expand, I want you to consider treating your room, it is really essential. It makes your work sound much more professional, and you are going to be getting consistently good results if you treat your room. Also, I would also advise that if you're trying to buy some things, don't always try to buy brand new. If you do your research very well, you can buy a lot of stuff online on eBay for much cheaper price, on Facebook Market, on Craigslist if you are in the US, and you can get really cheap price. But I recommend not to buy like microphone or your headphones for a pre-owned because of health and safety reasons. I think you should buy those one brand new. But things like your computer, MIDI controller, audio interface, you can literally get them for like half of the original price on the market. Even your computer, I bought my MacBook Pro for 1,000 Canadian dollars, and it has been serving me for more than 2 years right now, and it's still working great. So do your due diligence, take the risk if you can. Alright, thank you so much everyone for sticking around. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't. Comment below what you think about my studio setup. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What would you have done differently? If you want to know more about any of the gear that I use in the studio and you want an in-depth review, all you need to do is just leave a comment below, and I will find time to make a proper, honest and in-depth review about all of the gears in this place. I'll be placing several links below in the description to find almost all of the stuff that I'm using. As much as I can find the links to them, I will put them below so you can find them and you can go get them for yourself if you want to. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.